Earlier this week, I ran a video about the potential for brand damage, trying to offer some perspective, some insights, and got a few comments. Actually, I got more comments than I've ever had on any video ever before, despite the views being, just pretty good. People had a lot to say. People actually watched the video. People had some very strong opinions, and some of the comments deserve to be addressed. And because Mark was the guest at that time, he is back to help me field some of those questions. Perhaps we will gain some new insights and do so politely, for crying out loud. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, Mark, you can imagine people have strong opinions. This is the video in question. Don't need to show that, but there is a link to it if you wish to watch it. If you haven't watched it, it is an analysis, category by category, of things that I've been able to observe, things that are in the news, things that are that have been shared with me by financial planners, by Tesla Owners Club presidents, directors, generally speaking. And I'll tell you, the people who are putting events together are struggling to attract sponsors in the ways they have in the past, because, Elon does famously, I have enough money, I don't care. Great, but the people boosting you don't always have the money. And if you want fans to put on events and they can't attract sponsors, it's an uphill battle. But we'll start real soft. And by the way, I did get comments across the spectrum, and I did get people saying that I was so soft that clearly I am far right wing, and I was so hard on him that I'm clearly left wing. You've lived in Portland for too long, Brian. So worth noting, I don't live in.
So obviously you're bipolar, because you've covered the entire spectrum of comments.
Yeah. I didn't know I was not just on the spectrum, but the whole darn spectrum itself. Worth noting, I don't live in Portland. I have never lived in Portland. I say I live near Portland because if I told you where I live, you would say, where is that? Because it's a small town. I think 30,000 people in my town, 80,000 in my entire county, I think, something like that. So we'll start with the softest of softballs. Honesty detected. Good job. That's the objective. That's the objective, is to keep it real. Controversy equals brand damage. I think this is a very good, very neutral comment. It doesn't matter what the controversy is. You're going to make lifelong enemies if you take a stand on something.
Yeah, because you're picking a point on that scale, and for some it's too soft, and for some it's too hard. So you're going to lose some.
Yes, you are. And yes, but what he's doing is too important to you. To you. Not everyone shares your views. There are people who very passionately disagree with your views, no matter what they are. It's your politics, your religion, your genitals. You're welcome to have them. Please don't put them in my face. Just kind of where I'm at, generally speaking. And, again, no disrespect to your genitals, Mark. But that you and Mark were willing to discuss this topic is why I support your channel over others that are dismissive. Here in Australia, my preteen children don't want to be seen getting into and out of their parents' Tesla at school because of nasty comments by their peers. A relative has canceled their order and bought a Kia EV6. For many, the pride in Tesla has gone and only a bad taste remains. Anecdotal, but I thought worth mentioning.
It's someone's unique perspective. This is what some people are living, and this is what they're seeing, and it's valid.
Yes. If people are sharing this, and a lot of these comments are from people who have commented on the channel many times over months or years, I can consider it's a possibility that it's not a real person, maybe it's a concern troll if I've never seen them before, but a lot of these are people I have seen before. This is a much more poignant one from Jack. He says, brands and trust take years to make and spread, and a very short time to tarnish. Earning it back will take years. I don't remember if I made the example of Jack in the Box with their E. coli outbreak back in the 90s. It took years to get the reputation back that they were a safe and good place to eat, and they had to First, stop poisoning people. So,
That's a good first step too. Yeah.
well, for Jack in the Box, it worked out to be a good first step. So, uh, that you have to even discuss this issue is telling Musk has damaged the brand. I can see that.
Yep.
I did get plenty of comments from people saying, politics is not your jam, Brian. Get out of it. Stop talking about it. And my response to that is, I don't talk about politics except when it becomes policy or when it gets so big that it overflows into the production and delivery spreadsheet. At that point, you're back in my wheelhouse, and I have to tell you why. I have to tell you what's going on, because that's the whole point of it. It's not just to throw out a number, it's to give you the context behind it and why it matters. There are customers who will no longer buy one. I did have a nice chat with the gentleman in the comments who was saying, well, I am actually considering a Tesla for the first time ever because of Musk. And I said, great. Have you bought one in the last year or two? He said, well, no, not yet, but I'm going to. I've got my eye on some pretty good deals on used Model 3s. Like, well, that's great. That doesn't help Tesla sell more units, though. Those are used cars. So all you're doing is modestly reducing the days of inventory on used vehicles. I'm waiting to see the shift. And, one person did say, for every 2 liberals who now won't buy one, or for every liberal that won't buy one, 2 conservatives will buy one. And that's hasn't shown up in the data.
Yeah, that may be optimistic thinking, but where is the data that shows that?
Yeah. And I do believe brand damage is happening. I think you're right. It's hard to measure it yet. Bit too early, but clearly public sentiment polls has Elon with only about a 30% favorable rating in North America and Europe. This weighs Tesla down because he's so politically active. It wouldn't be so bad if he wasn't, but the reality is that he is, and people have negative ideas about him, more prominently active in their minds than other CEOs. Plenty of other CEOs are quietly active politically, donating to Trump or others, but it's one thing to be donating and sitting back quietly, and quite another to take an active role in the ripping apart of our government and overpowering and out of check and balance effect of the current executive branch. Doing what he's doing can actively negatively impact potential buyers' lives, and they're more than happy to return the favor. Increasingly, it's getting hard to not know someone who's been affected personally or who knows someone. You are 1 or 2 degrees of separation away from someone who does not feel that their job was waste, fraud, and abuse. I did have someone tell me, but he's already found $1 trillion in fraud. No, he hasn't. That's not how it works. What he's found is programs that are easy to disagree with. And if you disagree with those, then I can see that why you would cheer for this or that being unceremoniously axed or ceremoniously axed. But there's a whole lot of waste that I can see with my own eyeballs that is not being addressed and won't be, because it is waste to people that we like or that you might like. But he's put his face on these cuts. And that is going to affect people directly.
Absolutely.
That's my thinking.
He's being connected to these issues personally, and it's going to make others believe he's just the person that's running the campaigns, because he's out there so much front and center and on social media.
Very visible. I wonder if Elon's image will hurt the upcoming robo-taxi business in terms of boycotting Tesla and going with Uber/Waymo. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be a cheaper service, and that alone is sufficient to overcome objections.
And again, there will be people that will say, I will not take a Tesla robotaxi under any circumstances, because they just disagree. They completely disagree with what Elon's been doing and his persona. But is there enough of those to make it a problem with the launch? Don't think so.
Definitely not at launch. When there's only a few hundred or a few thousand or a few tens of thousands of these, there will be enough demand from people who love Elon or the vast majority who don't have an opinion strong enough to care if it, as long as it's cheaper. That's my opinion. I welcome comments on that. And I will say that a number of comments, a whole lot of comments last week on that video were stopped by the filter. And I would go look at them, and they were, guys, if you're going to be like abusive to others, to me, or to anyone else in the comments, YouTube is pretty good at picking up on that, and it will remove them. I don't feel any moral obligation to manually reapprove comments that are hateful or abusive or abrasive against either side of it. And believe me, it was absolutely the fringes of both sides doing it, because that's not what the channel's about. I'm sure plenty of nasty comments got through. Again, there were like 1,500 last I looked, so I can't read them all. And that's not my job. It would be a full-time job at that point. Can't do it. So there's, don't do that. And the other thing worth mentioning is, if you say to me that the earth is flat and the sky is green, I'm not going to take you seriously. If you tell me that, and if you start telling others things like, I've had some people that I've had to permanently remove from the channel for repeated misinformation. Cars take an hour to charge, 2 hours to charge. Great. I'll let that slide. You do it the next week, you're back with they catch on fire all the time. The next week you're back with the earth is flat and the sky is green. You're gone. You're gone. It's not my job to give crazy people with crazy ideas a platform. That's not my job. Is it? Just double checking.
No, it's not.
Okay. I want to make sure. David, who friend of the show, friend of the channel anyway, who I met a number of times. Elon's tactics of removing parts until it doesn't work, then adding back the part that broke it works great on assembly lines. But removing programs until people start dying, then adding that program back is problematic at best. Cutting foreign aid until everyone hates us, then helping just the countries we need something from is nearly as bad. A lot of these programs that people despise were approved by Congress. That doesn't make them waste, fraud, and abuse. That makes them duly selected by people we voted for. And while I didn't vote for them, great. But we, the people, did. That's how the Constitution is meant to work. And we've donated the goodwill we spent 60, 80 years building. We've just donated it to other countries who will step in to fill the void. China will step in and fill that void. They are happy to do it. It is impossible to view the situation without bias, and those who think their viewpoint is the only correct one are blanked in the head. And I use the word blanked. He said bad word, but really blanked is the correct word. They are blanked in the head because there's nothing going on in there. From where I sit, it seems sentiment rose as Elon gained favor and then started falling after the gesture. I'm not selling my Model Y or my stock. I'm hoping for a path back to sanity. And again, this is someone I know outside. I've met him through the channel, but I know him outside the channel. My biggest worry is that for the last few decades, each swing of the pendulum from left to right and back has gotten more severe. Something's going to break unless we find a path to moderation. I share the what if I'm the one in the wrong sentiment, but the philosophy behind the tolerance paradox works both ways, and thank you for your level-headed handling of a very emotionally charged subject.
Thank you for your comment, David.
Yeah, isn't that a good one? I don't have a response. I just wanted to share it because more fun. I just subscribed because I appreciate your honesty around the Tesla issues, to which I did give it a heart. And I'd responded, there have been 25 people who watched this and chose to unsubscribe. Now it's more like 60. It's probably more than that. I'll find out 2 a.m. when the new numbers drop. But a lot of people unsubscribed because this video was too extreme in one direction or the other. Apparently both. Fermi's Futuraza channel is what I guess I am. But I can't stop people from curating their bubbles to keep them safe from uncomfortable realities.
You're just telling it as you see it, Brian. It's you're looking at the information that's out there and you're deducing based on what is available. And that's unfortunate. Some people cannot argue in a constructive manner, as opposed to, that's it, I give up. I'm walking away. I'm closing my eyes. I'm plugging my ears. That's it.
On this one, this is a little trickier because I'm not entirely clear what it is. Is it a new Tesla? You have to be patient, 5 months delivery time. If we're talking, I think this is in reference to there isn't a demand issue because Model Y it takes months to get it. And if that's the case, I don't think that paints a sufficiently clear picture. And I can tell you that any model you wish to buy is probably in inventory nearby. Um, there are a number of vehicles available right now. So I'm not sure what this comment is in reference to. This one I just had to share because it was so bizarre. Thank you for reminding us all that 1 + 1 = 5. And I said, no, I'm saying 1 + y = 5 and asking you to solve for y. I provided so many citations. I provided so many examples. If your hypothesis that y is equal to 1, you already know something is missing. Oh, very cool comeback, sir. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. I accept your compliment in the good nature it was intended. And I appreciate you leaving so many comments because that is why YouTube keeps showing the video to more people. Rivian is going to eat Tesla's lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thought. Yeah.
Maybe some optimistic thinking there, but okay.
I just hope Rivian has lunch. I really do. I'm concerned for their cash burn, but I would say that Rivian is not going to eat Tesla's lunch. Their market segments are sufficiently differentiated. I would say that Kia or Volkswagen or Ford or GM, maybe somebody could be gunning for Tesla's lost sales, but I'm not sure it's Rivian. I'm not sure it's Rivian. Yeah. Now, this one I wasn't going to bring up, but I had to because Randy Kirk is not happy. You have to comfort him in some way. So Randy tagged me into a political post on X today, and please don't do that. Please don't do that. I don't want to block a bunch of people, but if you're going to be if you put your genitals, your religion, or your politics in my face, I don't have time for it. You blocked. Apologies to the hot singles in my area who no longer seem to appear now that I have ad block. Randy takes a very different opinion on the hand gesture, and I said I said on a show on his channel, you're right. It's not offensive. Go on, do it. Show us. And he declined. I don't know why. So if you think it's not offensive, if you don't understand that people will be upset, please do it in church, do it at the PTA meeting, anywhere you like. Just definitely do it in public, especially in a crowded place where you know people. Do it at work, in front of your boss, in front of the customers. I think that will really send a message that you no longer wish to work here. So, and this one from Mr. Caldwell, you just said it's not fraud, implying zero fraud. I'm not implying zero fraud. I'm saying everything I've been shown that's an example of fraud is not fraud, which is offensive, but not nearly as offensive as the position of the middle finger of your right hand while you're saying it. I don't do that on purpose. I gesture with my hands quite a bit. I apologize if there was a middle finger prominent at the time, but that's not offensive. I don't know if you've seen Rick and Morty, but it means peace among worlds. Peace among worlds. But at least that has a historical precedent. So, but I'm not saying there's no fraud. I'm saying that there's not $1 trillion in fraud, certainly, and that you must have forensic accountants to find it. And a bunch of tech bros, one of whom's only experience is working as an intern at a data security firm from which he was fired for stealing data. I think that's probably the wrong team to comb through the largest balance sheet in the world, looking for what is hidden. So that's my take on that. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, it's a real mixed bag when it comes to that. Like you said, the spreadsheet is massive, and you're going to need some real forensic data counters, and having some inexperienced young people try to access this and find the gems amongst it is not
is
going to happen that
yes,
easily.
sending out an email that says, give me 5 bullet points for what you did last week or you're fired. And sending it out over the weekend and giving 48 hours to respond is not an attempt to find the lowest performers. It's an attempt to justify firing a massive percentage of your workforce, regardless of their qualifications. If you were at a wedding, maybe you didn't get the email. There are a lot of reasons why, even if that had been a legitimate request, apparently it now appears that it was not a legitimate request, but more of an intimidation tactic. Even if that was the case, that is the worst way to get rid of the best people, because you're not, I mean, you might as well have everybody roll the dice and just fire anyone who rolls a 1. You're going to lose the best people. And when you go back to rehire because you realize it was a mistake, the best people are gone. Now you have a less efficient government. You have way more expenses. This is not efficiency. This is not what efficiency looks like. It is costing us dearly. A lot of people feel it personally. I don't. It hasn't affected me personally, but I have the ability to understand empathy and sympathy. And to the people who don't, they have my deepest apathy. On the other side of this, there was the clip of Elon leaving his kid behind on stage. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is complete bogus. This is the actual clip. So this is the full clip on stage. Turn this down a little. Come on, come on. Okay, he's right behind me. I'm looking. He's right behind me. And now he's not. Gets this far. Hey, come on, man. What are you doing? And he's back. So if you've seen a shorter clip of that, where it looked like he just abandoned his kid, forgot him, walked off, that is nonsense. And
yeah, it's manipulation. That's
manipulation.
what that is. Yeah.
And a lot of people are blaming the media. Don't blame the media. It was social media. Blame social media. Social media is much bigger, much faster, and far less prone to fact checking. I mean, some social media brags about firing their fact checkers, which is what I expect from a lizard person. From
Middle Earth.
From Middle Earth. I mean, I don't know where Zuckerberg was hatched, but he, I'm confident, breathes through his eyes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And you know what? I can post that on Facebook and nobody's going to fact check me. So I guess it's true. Yeah. Guys, in the comments, be nice. That's it. Just be nice.
Yeah, just be nice. That's all you have to do.
Voice
your concern, voice your opinion, but be nice about it. That's all we're asking.
Yeah. If you wish to call me a Nazi because I didn't sell my car, you're not going to make headway. If you wish to tell me I'm I can't remember some of the things that were said, but on the other end of the spectrum, that I'm some, I don't know, some woke DEI. Look, when you start throwing bingo words around and my card gets full, all I can do is yell, "That's a bingo." But apparently we just say bingo. I didn't know that. So there's, it's be constructive. That's the whole point. That's what we're trying to do. Exhausting, Mark. Exhausting. I appreciate you coming back and suffering through this with me. And I appreciate you being here because miraculously, you were somehow spared from the vitriol. It was amazing. It must be your natural, your innate Canadianness.
That's got to be it. Yep.
And I'm concerned because, with the tariffs coming up, I guess we're going to have to either make your screen 25% smaller or I don't know. We'll figure it out.
How does that work? Yeah. How does that work?
I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. Or maybe I'll just offset your audio by 25%.
Okay. Yeah.
So that it's very
send
distracting.
that to the State Department, of course. Send the full audio to the State Department.
Well, no, I'll just offset it by a little bit so it shows. So it's just out of sync. That's a good way to really upset viewers. Is bad audio. Guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it in the comments below. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And If you believe that you have been wholly removed for saying that the earth is flat or the sky is green or something else that is absolutely insane, maybe you have. I don't know. And I'm not going to dig through it to find out because I don't have time for that. I'm here for the facts and the science and the verifiable things that can be determined. Yeah, everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do. Stay tuned. Stay juicy. I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots, in the comments.